Hey everybody, it's Mag. Welcome back to the channel for another video. Today we're going to go through the post-shave routine and what I do to clean up my utensils and how I care for them. And certainly you can take away some tidbits of information or process. You could always share yours in the comments below the video. I'd love to read them. But certainly I just wanted to go through this and let all you shavers know. Some of you that may not be frequent shavers or new to wet shaving, the proper wear and care for some of the things that you use. So to start off with, right, here is the brush that I just used in the last shave. So we need to clean this off. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run this under cold water. And I'm just going to rinse out all of the different suds. And now what I'm doing is I'm just holding it upright and I'm letting the water run into the brush. And I'm just letting it get all the suds out so I can see that there's no more suds coming off. And then after I do that, I'm just going to take the brush, right, and I'm going to wring it out. And I can see in the water that comes out of the brush, there's no suds, right? So it's perfectly clean on the inside and on the outside. Then what I do is I just take my towel and just like I'm lathering a face, I'm going to lather the towel, right? A couple circular motions. I'm going to paint the towel back and forth, up and down, left and right. I'm not necessarily going to press on the brush. I'm just going to swirl it in a circle both ways, right? And now this part of the towel is going to get wet. So I'm going to shift to another part of the towel that's a little bit drier, and I'm going to do the same thing. And what this is doing is I'm actually getting the water out of the center. Right? Now, you can see that the bristles are still wet, but they're not clumped together, right? I'm spraying it right at the camera, and you're not seeing any cast off. Smells nice. I don't feel a thing. So this is pretty much dry. Now, it's not going to be perfectly dry. There's still some moisture in there, but I don't have a stand that's available where I can do it on the hand, and I feel a little bit of dampness, but there's no cast off. So you can hang it upside down if you prefer. I know that a lot of shavers say to do that. That's proper care. There's nothing wrong with that. You can do that. But since I have no cast off and everything is dry, I'm just going to set mine like this on my shelf over here. There we go. So that is on the shelf with all my other brushes, and it's pretty much dry, but I'll let it dry the rest of the way. And it'll be another couple days before I shave again, so it'll have plenty of time to dry out thoroughly. All right, now there's the scuttle or the bowl. So you want to use cold water because cold water will dissipate all of the suds real quick. And you just want to take your fingers and just clean out the inside of the bowl real good. Make sure that if there's any soap left over, that's gone. You don't want any leftover soap. Some of you that use pucks, you can keep the puck inside your container. But here's what I'll share with you that I do. I will remove the puck and I will rinse the puck off so that way a lot of the suds and stuff don't stay on the puck. So it almost looks like a wet puck, but all the suds from the lathering and stuff are rinsed off, and you use cold water to do that. And then I will clean off the inside of the bowl, and then I will dry the bowl. I won't dry the puck, but I'll dry the bowl, and then I'll put the puck back inside the bowl. So for example, I have here on my counter, right, just a little shave bowl that has the Williams mug soap in it. And I've used this before. I've shaved with it on camera before. So there's the puck, right? Smells great, but it doesn't have the residue on it. And there's the bowl, clean, right? So next time I use it, I'll lather it up. It'll be just like the first time I'm lathering it, even though it's a used puck. But I like to keep things clean, and I'm really not wasting, in my mind, any of the soap. I mean, the suds and stuff, the bubbles that get on it, I mean, yeah, they'll dry. It's usable soap, but I don't know. I like to have just what looks like a clean shave soap bar. Right, so then I dry my bowl completely dry. This one has a cork because it is a scuttle, but I'm just going to put the cork right in the middle. I'm not going to put the cork in because I can't dry the inside, and just in case some water got in there, I don't want it to get moldy or mildewy. So I leave the cork off, and that way it has a chance to dry. And that just goes here in the cupboard under my sink. All right. Now, you've heard me talk about putting the razor in my cappuccino mug. I use this to soak the brush before I shave, and I put the razor in the cappuccino mug in hot water between passes. So I put it in there, and I just let it sit. Now, that water is pretty clear to a camera, but like deep down, I could see some residue that came off of the shaver, right? So you can see the residue that's on the shaver. I did not use any oil, pre-shave oil, for the last shave, so that would definitely get on here and cake on. So not the blade, but the razor itself will have some of that residue. Now you have to be careful, and I speak from experience, because one time I went to twist this to get the blade out. Not this one. It was actually my Edwin Jagger one. And my finger slipped, and it twisted, it loosened up, and then the blade was, you know, movable, like it was shifting up and down because it wasn't tight anymore, and it caught the corner of my finger, and it did a nice slice job on it. So now it's all back together. I think if you watch some of my older videos, you'll remember I had a Band-Aid on. That was it. So I am just gonna, right, hold it firmly. I'm going to take the handle off. I'm going to put that in the cup, right? I'm going to hold it by the thread, lay it flat. There's the blade, right? Shark. So put that in the cup. The blade stuck to the bottom, so I got to remove the blade, right? Put the other piece of the shaver in the cup. And I'm just going to run the cold water, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just run the blade, both sides, under the water. Now sometimes you'll get soap on the edge of the blade. It'll get in between the razor stamp that's on the blade, and it'll get on the blade. That happens to me for Parasso a lot, depending on the blade that I use. Now this standard issue regiment razor doesn't have much room, just to the way that they're designed. It's a single post, and there's 4 notches on the corners, and it really compresses on the blade real good. The Edwin Jagger has a little bit of space, so when you shave on the blade, some of the cream will get up into the blade. So we're just going to rinse it off, and this blade is still usable. So it was only the second pass on it. So what I will do is I will rinse that off very carefully, because it is sharp, right? And I will place it flat in a towel, and I will fold an end over, and I will just dry it flat. I won't try to shake it or do anything special with it, because I don't want to cut myself. And there you go. It is dry. I'll turn the water off so you can hear me. And I'll put it back in the packaging for the next shave. It protects the blade. It also protects the fingers. There you go. All right. Then I just wipe the bottles down, like the aftershaves and the lotions and stuff. I wipe those down so that they're not dirty when I put them back. Actually, put that in the wrong spot. There we go. I just clean up as best I can. There we go. All right. The septic pencil that I used, right, that I broke. I put it back together. You just let some water run, and you can run your finger down it, and it'll kind of like start to melt. It'll re-adhere to itself. But even if it didn't break, you want to let it thoroughly dry. So there is a hole in the cap, right? So you can put the cap on and it'll still get air and dry. I like to leave mine just sit without the cap and dry, but you can do however you wish. And then that will take care of itself. And lastly is going to be the razor itself. So we have it apart. I'm going to turn on the hot water for this, and I'm just going to rinse the handle off, right? And the 3 pieces that make up the razor, they're already soaking in the hot water, so you want to make sure that you blow the air out from in there, because you don't want that to get all rusty and funky. And you do have, you know, natural oils and stuff, because when you do touch the blades and things, the oils from your hand will get on there and start to tarnish the finish. So now this particular again, DE razor is fairly easy to clean because it only has a single post. But some of them with the 3 posts, it's kind of hard to get in between and clean it real well. So don't be afraid to use a Q-tip. And especially when you polish, you can use a Q-tip to get into the fine areas that perhaps your rag or your fingers can't get into. Right? So there we go. Look how shiny that is. Cleaned off and dried right away. And then here's the base plate. I'm just going to run that under water, rinse it off. And we're going to dry that real good. This standard issue razor is super easy to clean. I love it. It does a great shave. I like the gunmetal color. Really impressed with it. Really impressed. And then you just put it together, right? And then when it's all together, I like to just take the towel and just give it a once over when it's together, because again, you know, my fingers were touching it, and I want to make sure that it stays nice and shiny. And I try to put everything back in its container. So here's the camera, the mirror, the cover that came with it. So I put that right back in there, and this is how it goes back onto my shelf. And then the last thing I have is the cup, right? It's clean, rinsed out. I dry it out. Sometimes you can't get a towel in there to dry things because it's very deep, but the opening of this cappuccino mug is no bigger than like a big candle holder. Maybe a few millimeters larger, but I dry the sink. I make sure my sink area is nice and clean, because who wants to have water marks and all that sort of stuff. The big mirror that's in front of me, I splash on that sometimes. I clean that off. So that is my post-shave routine. So let me know what you think. Let me know what you do different. Do you like something that I do? Do you disagree with something that I do? Hey, I'm open for comments. Let me know what you think. And thanks for watching again, and we'll catch you all in the next video. Bye-bye.